Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna wait for people to come in here because I haven't been on here forever, so I don't even know if anybody's gonna come in here because I don't know if anybody even thinks I still have a channel. So let's see. Oh, I see two people coming in. Happy Sunday. Hey, Liberty. Yeah, so I was just like super behind in life in general with like everything, so I pretty much went MIA. My life is Punkat was like gonna send what did I say yesterday to you that I was in the spy that I was in the spy balloon. That's where I was. No, I got so behind on school and work and everything, and so like I just every night I kept falling asleep, and but I think I have my life on track again, so I'll be back. I'll be back. You had the task force ready? I know, right? Um yeah, it was crazy. And then I mean I even was barely on Facebook at all. I don't know, it was nuts. But it was a good break, but I'm glad to be back. So I'll try to make sure that I am live a little bit more than I have been. So tonight, sleuths to the rescue, right? Tonight we are going to. So I'm trying to. Every time I do that because my chair, I think of a different creator, and I'm sorry, it's just really like drives me nuts. But tonight I'm like, hey Amber, we are going to talk about many different things because I'm going to be honest. Part of why I haven't gone live is because I hate when a creator goes live and they're way behind on every case. And so I feel like you have to like, you know, get researched up and stuff. But look, it is what it is. And so I'm catching up on a lot of cases. And so I did that some this afternoon after I played indoor soccer and my 40-year-old body hurts tremendously because I am 40 now. So, but we're going to talk about a few things. One, I don't know if you guys have seen, but tomorrow is, and I don't know how to say his last name, Aiden Fuchs, I think is how you say it. His trial starts tomorrow. And so they just released finishing your taxes. Woohoo! Yeah, I know, Amber, for sure. So they just released 236 pages of witnesses and stuff like that I have. We're gonna look at a little bit. So if you don't know his case, it's really hard because the Alex Murdaugh case is going on right now. We know that, and that's pretty big. So I've started researching that. But Tristan's case is going to be pretty wild. So it'll be interesting to see who tunes into that, and who. I mean, how do you choose what you watch? It's nuts. And I saw that on the Idaho 4 case. So I looked at updates today. It doesn't look like there's that much other than that he has a girlfriend or a love interest, allegedly. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is after Brian, I guess. I know, Liberty. That's gonna be crazy. So also, I just saw. What did I see? That, and you guys can tell me if this is rumor, if anyone's actually proven this, but that Xana's fingers were pretty much nearly severed off. Has that been proven? Like, as far as has law enforcement said this? So, according to this article that I just read, it said that Xana put up a fierce fight when the attacker set upon her, repeatedly grabbing the attacker's knife so much so that she sustained deep cuts to her fingers and her fingers were nearly severed. A source familiar with the investigation spilled, noting that Kernoodle was the last of the 4 to be killed. I mean, we pretty much already knew that. I mean, that she was the last to be killed. But that was the first I've heard that her fingers were. I mean, the thing is it's not hard to. Hey, Jen, it's not hard to imagine that her fingers were nearly severed off. I mean, she fought. We knew that. Um, but Jen, are you a mod yet? I thought I made you a mod. I think Liberty's a mod too. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, right, Liberty. And we pretty much know that's probably not. Okay, you are. We pretty much know that's not well, here's the other thing too, is that so we knew that everyone said that he had gone to Mad Greek, but then that ended up the Mad. Hey Jingles, hey Sarah, thank you. We knew that the Mad Greek owner was like, yeah, that's not true. So there's still back and forth about that. And then there's two witnesses that have come forward and said that they've seen him at the Union Building, and that he stares at you and makes you want to look at him and stuff. Well, here's the deal with that. It's kind of like hindsight. We can all say that somebody stares at us and just looks at us, but now that we know what he's like, yeah, it's easy to think that. They still don't have the weapon. But there was one other thing that I saw today. Oh, so I saw Alex posted something that was claiming that, she wasn't claiming it, but it was just something she was talking about, that Ethan's parents were questioning Dylan of why she didn't call 911. So I haven't seen anything yet from Ethan's parents. They're pretty quiet about this, but have I missed something? Or like has his family been more vocal now that I haven't seen? It's entirely possible. So I know that Kaylee's family is also fighting the gag order, but it's my understanding that the judge has said, like, hey, the gag orders for law enforcement, all that kind of stuff, we really can't, enforce it with you guys. Why they want it, I guess I don't fully understand why they're so upset about the gag order. So maybe one of you can enlighten me of why they're upset about it. And it's nothing bad. I just legitimately don't know, like, what's the reasonings that they want that released. All right, Pumpcat. Is it a matter of because they can speak about it? It's just, so I'm just trying to figure that part out of it. Will you do that? I'm going to pull up this. I'm waiting for one of y'all to answer. Like, are they afraid maybe that law enforcement won't keep them included on it or included in some of the case? Or I guess I don't know. But while we're talking about that, I've been looking into the Alex Murdaugh case, and that's pretty crazy. Okay, so I remember when this first came out, and what are your thoughts on the case? You guys give me your thoughts on the case, and then we'll talk about it. Oh, okay, Jen. Yeah, I'll do that. Yes, we forgot about. She was going to help me do that. So I think, in your opinion here in chat, do you think he did it? I asked last night with Jen Lou. If you didn't watch Decipher podcast last night, she had a really good with Jen Lou on it, and Kate and LFT and everything. They did a really good live on it. I would say let's go over the timeline. I'm sure you've all seen the timeline until you're blue in the face, but let's just look at it again. Hey, Beatlemaniac. So he's only 54, Alex. We know that. Obviously, South Carolina. Hey, Danielle. I'm just interested to see what you guys think. In your opinions, do you think he did it himself and acted alone? Or do you think he had help? I haven't, like, personally, from what I've read so far into the case, I think he acted alone, but is it out of the realm of possibility that other people knew about it? No. Do I think that it's possible? The hardest thing for me is I can't understand. I know, Danielle, right? I know. See, Jen, that's right. I'm not necessarily convinced that the son, Buster, had anything at all to do with it. And I don't know why. And maybe that's just because I want to believe the good, that there's, one remaining family member that wasn't in up to their ears and all the shadiness. But I think, in my opinion, Paul was a very, and this might just be, me just reading what I've read so far. Paul was the youngest, but I feel like he was very much like, I can get away with whatever I want because of who my family is, because my family has money, because I'm Paul, because I'm the baby or whatever of the family. So when I was reading this article, and you guys can tell me if any of this is incorrect, because remember, I'm learning this case too with you, because now I know I'm going to get just, I'm going to deep dive this and I'm going to get addicted to this case. I already know it. So the wife and Paul were killed in June of 2021. Now, allegedly, two of Paul's friends have come forward saying that they heard Paul was talking to them on whatever, on the phone or whatever, FaceTime or whatever, and they heard Alex's voice right before when the FBI says that the acts of murder would have been committed. So it says that, obviously, so this was the whole family. Buster's on the end, then there's Paul, Alex, and his wife. It says 2006, Randolph Murdaugh III steps down as prosecutor. So that would mean that was like what, the father? They had the 87-year reign as top prosecutors overseeing 5 counties. Holy cow. So they were like big time into where they lived. Wow. Okay, so there's Alex crying, in court. So Alex joined him as a volunteer. So in 2015, the death of Stephen Smith. Okay, back up the truck. I didn't know about this guy. Stephen Smith, a former high school classmate of Alex's eldest son, Buster, was found dead in the middle of a country road in Hampton, South Carolina. The 19-year-old's car was 3 miles away. He died of blunt force trauma caused by a hit and run and believed he was murdered. Whoa. So the autopsy determined and pursued several leads, including rumors that Buster was having a secret affair with Smith, and the Murdaugh family may have been behind the get out of here. Me too, Jen. My mind is blown. How did I miss this part of the case? Danielle, that's where I'm struggling. So, okay, Danielle, I think from what I 100% think he did it. The biggest thing, and Jen, I'm confused too, because this is the first I'm really hearing about Stephen. I am confused too about the motive. That's what catches me up. However, what if it's deeper than we think? What if Paul or the Murdaugh family is behind this Stephen Smith's murder? What if Paul started flapping his, like, what if Buster wasn't? Like, I think a motive could have been that Paul, I don't know, was threatening to reveal things. I don't know what things, but I do think that Paul had a way of getting away with whatever he wanted, because I thought that too, because I asked about money last night when Jen Lou was doing that, and I said, well, was it money related? Did they have life insurance? But they didn't. The Stephen Smith case, that I did not know about that. Okay, so it says, so the case is still unresolved. That was in 2015. I wonder how old Paul would have been there. So in 2021, it was announced a fresh probe into Smith's mysterious demise. Oh, I'm going to get so far into this case now. Now, in 2018, the Murdaugh family's housekeeper died falling down a set of stairs. Oh my gosh. So 10 months later, her family filed a wrongful death claim at the urging of Alex. An attorney representing Satterfield's sons later learned the insurance policies had paid out more than $4 million, which Alex and his crony pocketed. Okay. I'm going to watch that, Danielle. I'm going to have to watch that because my mind is blown. So now we've got a housekeeper that falls down the stairs. Do y'all remember what is the guy's name? Beetle, not, well, one of you might know, but I know Liberty would know too, because what is the name of the guy? I believe he's free now. It was a movie. His wife fell down the stairs. He says he didn't do it, but it's always been a big Michael something. Michael something. That's what this reminds me of. Exactly, Danielle, exactly. Okay, so the housekeeper in 2018 dies by falling down the stairs. Alex and his cronies, apparently, pocket the insurance policies for $4 million. Wow. So in 2021, Alex was arrested at a Florida drug rehab center and charged with embezzling millions from her sons. He has remained in jail since. Oh my gosh. So, all right, so let's think. 2015, Stephen Smith, former classmate of Buster, is dead. Now, I know a lot of people have led to the fact that it was Buster that killed him. I got to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this would be the situation where Daddy would take care of it, right? Like Buster's. Wow, my mind is blown. Buster's caught in this affair or whatever, or alleged affair. They feel like Buster's too close to this dude. Yes, the staircase dude, Amber. So Dad sweeps in and takes care of it or something. I don't necessarily think that maybe that Buster did it himself, but I don't know. So that's 2015. 2018, the housekeeper's killed. Well, okay, she falls down the stairs. They steal from her. 2019, Paul, baby Paul, was 19. So let's see. So, okay, so Paul would have been 15 at the time when Stephen Smith was killed, because that's the other thought that people have had is, could it have been Paul? That's what I thought, Jen. Grandpa was the head, like Grandpa, yeah. So Michael Peterson, thank you, Beetle. Yes, Michael Peterson. Because then I thought Jen Lou had said something last night that got me thinking, well, maybe that's a possibility that it was actually Paul that killed Buster. No, Stephen. But he was only 15 at the time, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. So in 2019, oh, I'll have to listen to that, Danielle. I'm going to dive into this case, and I'm going to see if Kate will do a team up with me, because she knows a lot about this case. And not that, like, I'm not against talking about the Idaho 4, but there's not really much at this point to update on that case. And I have a feeling Tristan's case is about to get a lot of attention as well. So 2019, Paul's on a boat, drunk, kills Mallory Beach and injuring 4 other friends. Paul had a blood alcohol limit 3 times the amount of the legal limit. Wow. Before the collision, his friend said he morphed into his drunk alter ego, Timmy. Oh my gosh. Becoming belligerent, stripping off his clothes, and slapping his girlfriend. Okay, so then Beach's estate filed a wrongful death suit against Alex Buster and the convenience store chain that sold Paul, the underage, sold him the alcohol. 2 months later, Paul was indicted on one count of boating under the influence causing death. So he was murdered before that went to trial. So Paul has an alter ego, Timmy. So back to Danielle's question. Here we are, June 7th, 2021. The murder happens. Alex, hysterically and sobbing, calls 911 shortly after 10 to report that he found Paul and Maggie shot to death near the dog kennels on the family's 1,700 acres. Now, remember, now it's been released. The defense just released a couple witnesses that claim that they heard Alex's voice on the phone call with Paul right before he was murdered. I have listened to this. Wait, the first round struck Paul's. So this is Alex saying, I need the police and ambulance immediately. My wife and child have been shot badly. The first round struck Paul's chest. The second entered his left shoulder, traveling into his neck and brain, which was severed from. Oh my gosh. Whoa. I didn't remember then. So Alex gets shot in the head. So motive. Hey, Kate. So motive. What do we got? Kate, you're more than Kate. I'm gonna see what night you could do like a dual. I know you're probably putting your little guy to bed right now. I need you to co-collab with me on this case because I'm trying to get caught up and I'm just like in a deep dive here, and it's like I'm like lost because there's just so much. So he changed his clothes as well. Kate, did you also know that tomorrow is Aiden Fucci's trial begins? Y'all, there's 236 pages, and we're going to look quickly at it in a minute here. Well, I get caught up on this case. To hear some of the witnesses describe it is crazy. Like, and how, like, he was banging his head on the back of the police car and stuff, saying, I'm going to get arrested, and all, like, just crazy. But back to this. So, chat, tell me what you think possible motives for him to kill his wife and his son. The only thing I can think of, in my personal opinion, is that Paul was a big liability for him. And Paul was a huge liability for Alex. And I don't necessarily know why, other than the fact that he constantly got in trouble. But, oh yeah, if she's available, for sure. I never ask her all this time because I feel like she's probably putting her little guy. Okay, well, here it is. Tell me if you're ready in a few minutes. The rest of the week, I'll do it like 9-ish and stuff. But I think Paul was definitely a ticking time bomb. He was about to go to trial for this other boating accident. Hey, Kiki's eyes. Only thing I can think of is that Paul and Mom were about to. That's what I'm wondering, Danielle, if something was going down. And I do think that Paul was the baby of the family. And I think very much probably enabled by his mother. Or what if Alex shot Mom and Paul came around the corner and saw it, or what? But because we know money wasn't a motive. So that's where I'm caught up on this case, is what was the motive? You know, and did Buster have any type of involvement, knowledge of it, or anything like that? Those two things are huge. And if there was an accomplice, which I think there was some sort of somebody that had knowledge or something of what was going to happen, who would that have been? You know, I'm still trying to believe that Buster didn't have any involvement, just because I want to believe that there's still a normal person in that family, but I don't know. I don't know that I would, I don't know that I think, I don't know that, I don't know. I don't necessarily think Buster's the one that killed Stephen Smith. I kind of agree with like what Jen was saying. Grandpa would have been the one to take care of it. I think it could have been a collection of people that could have potentially killed Stephen Smith. Because by the sounds of it, with this family and how it rolls in this family, is that like there were no laws with them. It says that Alex could end up facing like 5 different counts of murder, that he could have murdered potentially up to 5 people since 2015. And so I don't necessarily think that he's the one that murdered those 5 people. It's insane. And is it out of the total realm of possibility that Paul murdered the housekeeper? You know, like something happened. We know that. Now, was it Alex and his wife, like, wasn't it said once that they were like on the brink of divorce? Hey, Rhodey Gale, 100% Danielle. Oh my gosh, you're right. Because if they were on the brink of divorce and Paul was going to stay with, well, I mean, right there, you've got motive. I feel like I remembered hearing that somewhere. I was looking it up. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm looking up. I can't wait to talk to Kate about this case. Where the Murdaughs getting a divorce. Says 2 sources familiar with the case say she was known as an adult who very much spoiled her 2 sons, which we kind of already figured that. I mean, her older child, Buster, was much more easygoing and well-adjusted than Paul. I think that's clear. Who was 22 when he was shot with his alongside of his mother. It says that this alter ego Timmy is just it's too much. I'm like dead right now about that. Oh, Danielle. So according to a family member, she saw Paul snap at least one time, and he was a handful even as a little boy, which, I mean, there's many boys that are handfuls, but I do think this alter ego of Timmy is very, very interesting. He told his Aunt Nancy to go F herself when he was 10. He didn't like authority, and I think we all see that he didn't like authority. I mean, he very much reeks up this spoiled rich kid who never thought he had anybody to ever answer to. It says that the mother was very sweet, which we all heard, you know. It says there was something. Maggie was very close to her parents, who have not spoken about their daughter or grandson. So there are rumors that she was. So the thing is that they say that her parents were very proper. So like divorce. Kate, okay. So divorce wasn't like, her parents were very proper, and divorce, it said, wasn't like I don't know, what do you call it? Like the thing to do, I guess, or you know how it is down south or whatever. Like you just don't divorce. Not in that type of a family, I guess. So her parents didn't really believe in the divorce. It said that a friend spoke out about Maggie, who said their friendship ended on a slightly sour note because Maggie was very thin and would always make fun of people's extra weight. Okay, then. The family member. Wow. She bent over backwards for the boys, especially Paul, and they could do nothing wrong, and they wanted for nothing. Wow. Well, exactly, Kate, and that's what they're saying. Like they were saying that, her parents, like that is not how she was raised. Like she was raised to marry into a family like she did with Alex, and it's a really bad look to divorce. Her parents were very proper. They didn't believe in that, and she's super close with her parents. And you're right, with the voting trials, she would not have divorced. She wouldn't have divorced Alex, probably specifically for Paul. Like if that was going to be something that really hurt that trial, you're right. I don't think that she would have done it. But it's just the motive that keeps catching me up, that I can't think of what the motive would be for both of them. Other than the fact that, I mean, Paul was maybe going to go to jail and that would have looked bad on the family, but I mean, so did him dying. So I don't know. That's just crazy, but I'm definitely going to dive into that even more so. But I wanted to look at this really quick too while I have you guys. So that, because we know the Aiden trial is about to start, and I wanted to see a little bit of this stuff that was released. So I'm assuming everybody here knows about, Tristan Bailey, to buy some time so we could pay back the money they found out he stole, maybe. True, Kate. That's true. I got a deep dive. So if you're not, I got a deep dive that case. So I'll have more on that this week with Kate too, because this is going to be crazy. And my brother's really into this case now, so he's like, you got to cover it. So I'm going to. But so if you didn't know about Tristan Bailey was the girl that was 14, and Aiden allegedly stabbed her 114 times. He's also the boy that was in the back of the police car when he texted, hey, has anyone ever seen Tristan, who he had literally just brutally murdered. They have him on like the body cam walking back with Tristan. So there's things that they just released today. That trial starts tomorrow. Tristan allegedly did fight back a lot. So this was some pretty mind-blowing stuff. I didn't know they have all these names listed, and I didn't originally know why they were all listed. But now I understand, because they were actually at a party that night before they walked where they did. Aiden and Tristan walked where they did, where he killed her. Aiden's mom was also arrested because she was allegedly washing his clothes that were all bloody. So there's a ton of evidence they had. There was something I wanted. There's a ton of. Okay, I'm just scrolling through these quick. These are all names of people, like witnesses at the party. So they allegedly have a ton of evidence, that places blood at the scene and stuff. So in case you didn't remember, so they were at a party, Dofus Absher Trey, is that what they call them, I guess? But there was something else. So Aiden was allegedly walking Tristan home. Video footage obtained from the house revealed two subjects walking east, which was obviously Tristan and Aiden. She was actually found at the south end of a retention pond located just east of the cul-de-sac where she lived. She had significant injury to her head and other traumas and was wearing black pants with a black shirt. The defendant's residence was approximately 0.3 miles from the location the victim was discovered, which is consistent with the timeline established from the video's surveillance. A search warrant was executed on the defendant's residence, where several items of evidentiary value were located within the defendant's bedroom, which were consistent with clothing observed in the video surveillance. Furthermore, some of these items yielded a presumptive positive test result for the presence of blood. There was one thing so these are like 236 pages, but there was just one thing that I wanted to point out. So this is some of the things. They have a doorbell camera. It tells you about what doorbell cameras, but I gotta find this piece. I can't believe I forgot where it was. So it says, I met with Sergeant Tommy Marmo, was blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I can't find it, but there's part when you go down that says that, and I've got to find it, that Aiden always carried 2 knives, and he named them, like one was like poker and one, I mean, it's insane. There's pictures, and that's what I'm trying to get to. But then there is people who are now trying to say that it was in fact not, hey Sandy, it was not just that the guy, the boy's house whose the party was at, was actually the one involved in this. So it kind of sounds like that Tristan is going to try to throw this kid under the bus. So there's just a couple of things I want you guys, we got to go through. This is crazy. So this is when somebody's looking for Tristan. It says on Sunday, May 9th, units assisted with a search for Tristan Bailey. And they said shortly after the arrival, oh, no, we know that part. Well, when I find the pictures, because there's a pictures and they show like Aiden, Aiden clearly has defense marks on him. It says at approximately 3. This is crazy. So what are your thoughts on this? All right, well, hold on. I want to read this part. This is after the initial walkthrough of Aiden's house. They ascended the stairs. This is Aiden, obviously the boy, to the second story, took a right at the landing, and met Detective Newman in Aiden's bedroom, which was the first bedroom to the left after taking the right from the landing. Aiden's bedroom windows look out towards the back side of the residence north. In Aiden's bedroom, I began to assist Detective Newman and Howell with searching for anything of evidentiary value, particularly searching for any cutting objects. I searched the area of the north wall of the bedroom to include the bed and did not discover anything. I then moved to Aiden's closet to assist Detective Newman in a thorough search, as there were many items in Aiden's closet. Located in Aiden's closet was a large brown dresser, which was filled most of the floor space, leaving only a small space between the wall at the left, right, and rear sides of the dresser. The dresser drawers faced towards the bedroom. Above the dresser were multiple shelves which contained numerous shoes, school documents, and folders, sporting pads, and a small fish or animal enclosure. On top of the dresser, papers, notes, and other. I searched the small space between the left wall of the closet and the left side of the dresser, which is the closest to the door opening of the bedroom. In this small space, I observed nothing of evidence here. Okay, you did all that. But he did find something, a gravity bong. So then they found shoes, though, that were observed in the video. They found those. They found the 2 Nike shoes, and they observed the reddish-brown colored stains upon the tongue and front portions of the shoes, which was believed to be blood. Butts conducted a presumptive test for blood, which yielded a positive result. While removing the dresser, Sergeant Garnes observed a white shirt which was partially under the back side of the dresser. He removed the shirt, which showed more reddish-brown colored stains, also to be blood. And then they discovered a piece of paper on his dresser, which was covered in the same stains. Interesting. It's awful. Like, I mean, the gist of what we know so far is that she was stabbed 114 times brutally, and for essentially no reason whatsoever. No one knows any type of reason that the motive that would make him do such a thing. Obviously, there's nothing that, that would be good motive, but between this and now I know I'm going to get into the Alex case. So I'm going to just get stuck there. I'm trying to get to the point of where they give his interviews. Obviously, it's from the moment that he got in the car, he's claiming that he didn't do it, all that stuff, that he's going to jail, and it's, for something that he didn't do, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, these are all just, I'm going to have to go through these and see what it has, because a lot of it's the same stuff. So when this guy interviewed Aiden, before they had found Tristan, he explained to Aiden that he just wanted to speak to him since he was concerned about Tristan's safety. He asked about a path where she would be staying, and Aiden explained there's a trail that goes deep down into the woods. When he asked Aiden if he had heard from Tristan, he said no. Asked if he would be willing to give a statement about what was going on with her, and he agreed. Stated he was at Trey's house and stayed there until 1:50. Realized he was late and needed to get home since he knew his mom would be mad at him. Began walking and got near a brick wall. Tristan touched his dick, and okay, yeah, and he gets really, yeah. And then he walked away in anger and asked why she would do that. Or then the cop asked him why she would do that. And he stated, because she's a hoe. And then he told police that she was banging a guy in his 20s. Knows that this guy crashed a car. He claims Tristan told her she could buy acid. This guy was on her Snapchat, according to Aiden, but he blocked her. Right. When confirming he shoved her and took off, he was asked where he last saw her, stated by the amenity center and unsure of what time it was. Believed she was killed by the drug dealer. Oh my gosh. Doesn't he, Jen? I know. I mean, this kid's pretty stupid. They've got some pretty cut and dry evidence about this. But yeah, but it is, it's just it's hard enough when we hear about this, Brian doing what he did to 4 of those kids. But I mean, to stab somebody 114 times, plus you have to factor in that the knife would have been extremely dull by that point. And he just carried on. But then to be so sadistic to Snapchat from the police car, hey, has anyone seen Tristan? After he knows he killed her. Is it insanity? It's like when they let go the kid that's out now, he lives near me. Because the murder happened right down hey, Rena, that happened right down like 20 minutes from my house. Eric Smith, do you remember him? And he killed a 4-year-old brutally with a rock and also sodomized him. And he was in prison and he was denied bail like over and over and over again. Well, when COVID hit, they let him out of prison. And he lives now in Rochester, I guess. Oh, thanks, Rena. And he wanted to move back to where he wanted to move back to the town that he this little boy in, which says a lot to me, right? Because this little boy's family still lives there, but the judge said no, that he couldn't move back. But that has to tell you something. Like, it's just insane. Anyways, I do think that, in my opinion, that Aiden was the sole perpetrator of this murder, I think. But only because they do have the video evidence of, hey, Tia, of just those two walking out to the woods. I don't believe for 1 second he pushed her off of him. I think, if anything, he made an advance at her and she wouldn't reciprocate. But allegedly, I had read in multiple places that he fully knew what he was going to do before they even went on a walk. Like, he just knew immediately. Like, he went out there knowing he was going to kill her. It's just, I don't even understand it anymore. All right, I want to look something up while you guys are right here. I want to... What is this? Epsom College head found dead with husband. Oh my gosh. I'm back to the Murdaugh case now because I can't get off of it. So, Maggie Murdaugh's phone bears witness to her final moments. So it's firearms and cell phone data dominated discussion Tuesday afternoon in the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial. So I thought it was, dang, wow, that weapon is really big that she was killed with. So a full file evidence of Maggie's phone, which was stored on an external hard drive, investigators have. The record showed 5 missed calls from Murdaugh after so it says Dove testified that Maggie made her last call at 7:50 p.m. on the night of the murders. The records also showed 5 missed calls from Murdaugh after that time, from 9:04 to 10:30. Murdaugh called 911 around 10:07 to report finding the bodies of Maggie and Paul. So you're telling me he calls up until 10:03 and then finds the bodies at 10:07 and calls 911? Dove also testified that the last text message Maggie read was from Lynn G., likely her sister-in-law, Alex's sister, at 8:49. Oh. Dove testified the data suggests that someone held her phone in their hand at 8:54 and again at 9:06 without unlocking it or answering several of the calls and texts. That's nuts. They can tell that stuff? I had no idea that they could tell, like, if somebody had held their phone but not unlocked it. That's nuts. Let me go back to that. I had some good stuff. So, whoa. So that puts the murders probably then, like, wait, that is crazy. So that means the murders probably happened between like, wow, that 4-minute span. Maggie's phone showed physical activity by the user or holder of the phone. 38 steps were taken at around 8:17, 43 steps around 8:33, and 59 steps at 8:53. Whoa. Maggie's phone remained locked, however, and showed no further activity until SLED agents found it beside the road the next day, roughly a quarter to a half-mile away. 43 steps. Is she right? And then Murdaugh starts calling at 9:07. She doesn't answer. But this phone is traveling. So do I, Jen. So we've got a phone traveling, but not really being unlocked. My mind is blown. And then there's Paul. Paul's in here in this whole thing too. And Paul has friends who say they were on the phone to him and they heard Alex's voice. Ah, wow, Jen. Yeah, Danielle, I just don't know how yet. But that's also because I haven't deep dove in it yet. But that's going to be happening tonight now. I know it. I just didn't know you could tell when somebody held a phone but didn't like unlock it. So they still haven't found the murder weapons? And what was his where did he say okay, so Murdaugh said that the last time he saw Maggie and Paul was when the family had supper. However, earlier in the trial, Waters told the jury that the state had cell phone video evidence that put Murdaugh at the dog kennels later than that. So the dog kennels are on the land, right? Okay, you gotta catch me up there. The dog kennels. Okay, they haven't found the weapons. The dog kennels are on. Okay, I'm gonna Google that right now. Okay, we'll watch that. Okay. Wait, I better share my screen with you. I can't click on them. I found it though, I think. Okay. I have like 50 things open. All right, I got it. Here we go. Okay, the kennels. Okay, now I've caught up to where the kennels are on the. This is it?
Get it. Get that. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Come on, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken. Come here, Cash. Cash. Quit.
Well, so who's all the people? So we've got, is the person talking to the dog right there? Is that supposed to be Alex? And then is that Paul and Maggie in the background? That's pretty crazy. So it says, wow, my mind is pretty blown away. Murdaugh's financial hangover. Oh. Oh man, I'm never going to be able to go to sleep because I'm going to be digging into this case. I know it now. So how far away from, so a confession, it says a confession, bloody dog kennels and clean shirt, key revelations from Alex's trial. Claimed that he returned from visiting his elderly mother to find the victim's body. Okay, now I get it. To find the victim's bodies at the dog kennels on the land. So that's because my mind is blown. Because June, it's dark. So, yeah. I'm sorry, this guy's so stupid. If that's him in the video, it's dark out because we can see that it's dark out, which in June, what, doesn't get dark till like, well, I mean, it's starting to get, it doesn't get dark till later. So he claims he's visiting his elderly mom. So it says, okay, so prosecutors allege that Murdaugh, this is the motive that they allege, is that Murdaugh killed his wife and son to distract from the growing number of scandals and crimes swirling around him. It's a dramatic saga that now includes a murder, a botched hitman plot, multi-million-dollar fraud schemes, and a series of unexplained deaths. So prosecution told the jurors the cell phone records and Snapchat video. This is what I was saying. Snapchat video taken by Paul minutes before he died are critical in proving that Murdaugh's guilt. Attorney said that Paul was shot at the dog kennels first at 8:50 p.m. Oh my gosh. So what if, oh my gosh, can you imagine if Maggie, like, yeah, can you imagine, like, if Maggie came around the corner and saw Paul or something? So if he was killed at 8:50 and Maggie was killed minutes later, cell phone records allegedly placed Mr. Murdaugh at the dog kennels minutes earlier when the suspect had told everyone he was never there. Oh my gosh. So are you guys telling me? Are you telling me right now? It says a video that Paul made at the kennels minutes before his murder. He was filming a dog to send to a friend. According to the prosecution, 3 voices, Paul, Maggie, and Mr. Murdaugh, can be heard. Other evidence the prosecution promised to show jurors included gunshot residue in Murdaugh's car, on him, on a raincoat that he allegedly left at his parents' home. Oh. So at what point At what point do you go from playing with your dog's tail, treating your dog like they're this cute, sweet little thing, your wife and your son are in the background, sound perfectly normal, to minutes later killing them? Maggie was running away. It didn't even know I hit him. The defense opening statement says Murdaugh was seen broken down in tears. Aww. Described a fatal shot which killed his son Paul, saying it exploded his brain like a watermelon. You did that, allegedly. And Murdaugh says then he arrived home. Paul was the apple of his eye. Oh my God. So Murdaugh suggests that his wife and son were murdered because of the boat crash. Oh. So Big Al knows the trial's coming up, kills them to take the heat off of himself. Suspect shed no tears after finding wife and son. The sheriff testified that Murdaugh appeared to shed no tears after he claimed to find his wife and son's bodies. Wow. He was wearing a clean white shirt after he touched his wife's and son's bloodied bodies on finding them shot dead. So he did change his clothes. Holy crap. No, Danielle, I wouldn't either, because, I mean, we can all pretty much agree. Well, he was placed at the crime scene minutes before, right? So we can agree he did it. I mean, we can suspect that he probably had a part of it. But the other part that's going to be hard is proving that no one else was involved. Because a guy like this, a scumbag guy like this, who's pretty much gotten away with everything he's ever done for most of his life, is used to throwing other people under the bus. Yeah. Exactly, Jen. That's the thing. Who helped him? It seems not like, for somebody who obviously had this planned. He obviously had this planned. It was so poorly executed. That's a really bad word to use, right, in this situation. Oh gosh, yeah, okay, so he's on the phone with 911, is upset, tells that his wife and kid has been shot badly, goes ahead though and tells the dispatcher about the 2019 boat crash involving a 22-year-old, and that Paul had been getting threats for months and months. Well, that right there tells me that that was, who finds their kids and then, like, okay, Beetle, like Alex, he would know so many people inside me. Yeah, exactly, Danielle. Very true, Jen. Very true. And we've got to think now, we do know Stephen Smith's case is basically being relaunched, or has been relaunched in 2021, and they're going to look into that very thoroughly. I'm going to look more in that case too, because I just don't know that it was Buster. I think, like Jen was saying, Big Daddy has Grandpa take care of it, or Grandpa takes care of it. But the maid, the housekeeper, like, there's probably murders that he was involved with and that family's been involved with that we don't even know. We know that there's the alleged Timmy, just there's so many people he could have hired. You're right, Danielle. There's so many people he could have hired to help him. So now you've got to wonder, is the defense, I mean, what grounds is the defense going to say he's innocent when you can place him at the crime scene on video talking? It's so he like puts the dogs in the kennel and has this moment with his family and then turns around and just offs them. I know, me too, Punkette. My mind my mind has a hard time wrapping around some of this stuff. I mean, it's all bad, but I do agree though, Jen. I do think from what I'm reading and stuff, I do think Maggie was scared of him. I really do. I think she was kind of caught in a weird, because I don't live in the South now, so I don't know too much. Like I lived in Texas, but it wasn't like, I don't know, like I think she was caught in a hard spot, like between the proper thing to do, stay married, the money, the kids, the boys, always bailing the boys out of everything. The boys couldn't do any wrong. Being the perfect image of the perfect PTA mom, the perfect everything, which it says she did. She would never miss an event or anything. To kill your wife and child. See, I gotta go. But see, Jen, I'm gonna deep dive this. So she was nervous when he insisted on meeting with. Oh my gosh. So Murdaugh tells a wild story about Black Panthers, about a farmhand claiming to kill a radical Black Panthers. You got to be kidding me. Murdaugh claims that a man had told Paul a really weird story just 1 week before the murders. He told Paul a story the other day of how when he was in high school, he got into a fight with some Black guys, and an FBI, what in the... He adds, Paul was so taken aback by it, he recorded on his phone. Paul had been working with him a lot, and the story was really weird. So then there's speculation that Murdaugh accidentally confessed. He said that the disgraced legal dynasty heir may have unwittingly slipped up and confessed the murders of his wife and son. I did him so bad, a sobbing Murdaugh appeared to say about his son in a police interview on June 10th. Oh, it's just so bad. I did him so bad. Man, my mind is so blown. She wanted to meet him at the hospital to see his dad, but Alex insisted on going to the house. She knew. Oh my gosh. Well, y'all, I'm going to hop off here for tonight because I'm going to go do some deep dive. And so I'll be back this week with Kate. We're going to have... What?
Are you done?
In a minute. We're going to have a lot to talk about this week between this and Tristan's case, or Aiden's case. So thanks, guys, for coming back. And I'll be back now. I've caught up with my life, so I'll be around a lot now. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Have an awesome night.